Welcome to The Shield Within. The issues discussed on the Shield Within podcast do not reflect the opinions of any specific agency. They are the views of the host and the guest. Any persons discussed may be fictional for comedic purposes only. This podcast is rated explicit and listener discretion is advised. Listening to The Shield Within may trigger repressed or suppressed memories or experiences. Please contact a mental health professional at your earliest convenience. It's time for the chaos to cease.
Time to open yourself to peace.
From the hours you've put in.
To the next shift you begin.
From the endless pursuit of release.
That finds the worst unleashed.
Transform the ugly into a win.
Get to know your shield within.
Ready.
Welcome to the Shield Within.
Welcome.
We are going to partake in volume 2 of, what are we calling this, Miss Kelly?
Wives on the Line.
Wives on the Line. And I'm really happy that we're doing this again. We have Stephanie with us.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yay, we are excited you're here. And Holly.
Hello.
And
Hello.
Susan.
The sainted
Susan.
There we go. She'll be sitting in here. I'll be surrendering my microphone, and not last but not least, the Kelly is here with us.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we're going to take up volume 2. Dr. David has a whole stack of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ready
And
to
of
go.
course, Stephanie's there like, what the fuck am I just got myself into? So just remember, just relax.
Yeah, for sure.
And like David says, there's nothing uncomfortable.
Right.
If you don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it. If you do, you do.
I'm
Exactly.
good.
But we're glad you're here because
I'm super excited to
as
be
we've
here.
talked so many times before, I thought I was going to send out a goon squad to kidnap you and bring you up, but she finally came up to just the tip.
That's right. Giggity.
Giggity. So let's do a little business here before we get going. So we know you're on social media. We have Facebook. We have the Gram. Believe it or not, we're on Instagram. Also, www.theshieldwithin.com. Facebook / The Shield Within. And if you're needing some peace in your life, just hit that coaching button. If you go to Shield Within, will take you to lessonslearnedcoaching.com. And you can work with Dr. David himself. So we have to say out there for those of us who are not really bright that he's not a real doctor. We just say that because it's a catchy term, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right. This is life coaching.
Right.
Is what we're getting into. And David
Right.
has a vast, long. How many years were you in mental health?
41 plus.
41 plus. Yes. And this is plus still, correct?
Absolutely. Still going.
And still rocking and rolling. I think we hit all the bases, haven't we?
I think so.
Yeah, did all the business. But please, for the Facebook, give us a like. If you're listening to us on all major platforms, we're now on Pandora. Please like and follow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so much worried about Facebook likes. Kind of fuck Facebook, but we need those likes and follows. It really helps us out on the business end of things. What kind of business? Well, we're hoping to get some advertising rolling here pretty soon. Start paying back some of this high-priced equipment we've been buying here at the Shield Within.
Yeah.
Right, Kelly?
Yes.
Yes, right. All right, Dr. David.
All righty.
It's all yours. I'm going to surrender my microphone to the saint.
Talk to me afterwards. We're going to start doing charity nights
Oh,
at
sweet.
Patterson, where you
Yeah.
show up and guest bartend, and all the money goes to you guys for the night. So we can
Hell
make
yeah.
you the first one.
This will be a shit show with us, Bart.
It's great. We live like a block away. Everyone can camp out.
I'm probably drinking that day.
Yeah, I was going to say, pull the RV up in the driveway. It's fine.
Something to look forward to.
Yes, exactly.
Moderation.
Good evening again.
Good
It's
evening.
nice to meet you, Stephanie.
Yes, you as well.
And for Holly, it's always a pleasure to see you.
You too.
But Kelly,
Hello, Dr.
miss seeing you.
David.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. I think since your wedding night.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it has been.
Almost exactly a month ago now.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, congratulations.
thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been a lovely first month, I'll tell you. And Susan, always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
We covered a lot of material in the first episode. I listened to it again a couple nights ago, and I was so impressed by how good it was. the contributions I thought everybody at the table made were really beneficial, useful, for real. It was just a really lovely episode. And I kind of wanted to follow up on that by going in some different directions, but I thought it might be good for me to know a little bit about Stephanie. So, can we talk a little bit about Stephanie?
Sure. What does that mean to you?
Well, where we started the last episode was starting with, like, you're not yourself a law enforcement person.
That is correct. I'm married to a law enforcement officer.
Okay. So, like, at the time you and him got together, did you know he was in law enforcement?
Yes. Actually, the night we met, he came to save me. I was a damsel in distress. So
Oh, my
he
goodness.
actually showed up. He was not working, but I needed a law enforcement officer, and he stepped in. He was actually out having some pleasure and stepped up to help me out. So, yes, I learned from day one that he was a police officer.
Wow. That jump-started things, I would think.
Yeah.
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 And how
For
many
sure.
years ago?
That'll be a little over 3 years ago now.
Okay. And when you found out he was a law enforcement person, very quickly,
Yes.
did that, and he did indeed intervene beneficially.
Yes.
And so at that point, you weren't scared of him being a police officer.
Oh, no, not at all. He was there with 2 other officers that were good friends of mine that I had known for a long time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So no issue at all.
Right, right. And having those folks in your life, you already had some sense of what these people's lives are like at work.
A little bit. I don't think you can know until you're in it,
Right.
right? We have an idea of what we think it's from the outside.
Exactly. Once you're into it, like let's say a year in, are you surprised?
There are quite a few things to be surprised about.
Okay.
One of the best things I found or came to learn was how big the Blue family is
Oh,
and how big and outreaching their heart is. Unfortunately, in the first year and a half of being with him, he is head of the memorial for
Okay.
the police officers, which means that also anytime an officer is hurt in the line of duty, or God forbid, is killed in the line of duty, we show up at the hospital.
Wow.
We spend the night in the hospital. We go there. It's his job to support these families from kickoff of an injury. So within my first year and a half of being with him, we spent quite a few nights in the ER waiting to hear about how the fallen officer was doing and supporting their family. And so as much as that was a horrible thing that I came to know and realize being a blue line wife, that at any moment this can happen, it was also just amazing to see how big the Blue family is when we need them.
Wow.
So I got to see both sides of it very quickly of
Yeah.
what that was like.
those are very moving interactions, man.
Extremely, and it made me actually fall in love with him even more to see how big his heart was for the entire Blue family and what he did not only during duty but off duty to support the rest of his family.
Right. I love the use of the word we. That says you went with him.
Correct.
You were directly there. It wasn't like a symbolic we. It was an
Yeah.
actual we.
I was there to support him so he could support others.
Right.
Yeah,
Can't pour from an empty cup.
absolutely.
Beautiful. And therefore, you became part of the environment
Yes.
and became a direct participant most of the time, I would imagine.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Our whole family. I have kids, and at the time we had a German Shepherd. So the German Shepherd was being trained to be a support dog. So the dog ended up going with us to anything that was Blue Line related to offer support to people as well.
Wow.
So yeah, our whole family, my 20-year-old daughter, we all jumped in. Yes.
Your 20-year-old daughter,
Yes.
the dog.
Yes. Everybody. Yes.
And I'm thinking that worked. That was
Somehow for
beneficial.
us, it just did. Yes.
There's just so much good energy there. The family was receptive and accepting and appreciative. all that you offered,
Yes.
including the dog.
Yes. The dog's gone, but yes.
That's how these things work.
Yes, it is.
So is your husband currently active then?
Yes, he is.
Okay. And how many kids you got?
We have actually 0 that live with us now, but for the last 2 years, we've had 3 kids in our home.
Okay. And now it's just you and him.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes, this is the first time we've been alone since we met each other.
And different,
And
obviously.
very different, yes, yes.
Well, one of the things that we talked a little bit about last time was concern at times about a law enforcement professional, being a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes with all the stuff they carry around inside them emotionally, cognitively in their head and so forth, traumatic events beyond measure, there's been times when those folks kind of get grumpy and irritable and short. And as Joe Terry called her husband, I think it was asshole Chip or something like that. And he would be around. And I think it's something that all of us at the table have understood as a part of the trip. So I'm wondering, have you had that experience of being with a man who's carrying stuff around in his head that he can't really share with you in a very real way? Has that been a reality?
I have to say, if you haven't met Dan the Man,
I have not met Dan the Man.
he is an anomaly. We started our relationship with extreme lines of communication. Probably excessive amounts of communication. So when the kids came into our home and he had rough days, we already kind of unspokenly had plans in place to make sure that we didn't have those kinds of issues around. The girls that were with us had some past trauma, and so we knew that our home had to be a very safe and secure space when we brought them in. So Dan and I had kind of already figured out how we were going to work around these things when there were rough days or rough times, or when he pulled doubles or pulled the extra 4 hours. I just had a plan in the back of my head to make sure that everybody's needs were taken care of, but Dan didn't really have to deal with the home or the kids except to say hi, goodbye, I love you, and that's it. So we kind of worked to make sure we never see that guy.
Beautiful. And it's worked.
It's worked. It's worked. Yes. So far. We're rookies still.
Yeah, understanding.
Right? We're rookies. It's not been very long.
Life changes.
Yes.
New challenges will drop from the sky.
Absolutely.
Good for you, though, to make a battle plan. And with the 3 kids gone now, it's just you and him.
Yes.
That can be just a different dynamic. When he's having a rough day, do you leave him alone?
It really depends. Again, communication. I read his body language and his tone when he comes home. And that either means I call somebody and send him out on a date with one of his guy friends, or I will go out, or I'm sitting on the back porch when he gets home having an alcoholic beverage myself, which just kind of gives him the go-ahead to grab an alcoholic beverage. We're going to sit on the back porch and smoke cigars, and whatever comes up, comes up. So, again, kind of that communication. We've learned to read each other, and I just set safe spaces for him, depending on what I see.
I hear self-care in that, too.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
These are strategies and structures that you've put into place that also take good care of Stephanie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, again.
We have to. Again, like you said, we can't pour from an empty cup. Yeah. So if I'm not in a good place with our relationship and what he does every day when he leaves, I can't be a good supporting spouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So,
good for you.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Excellent.
We try.
Any reactions, impressions, anything you want to react to Stephanie about the rest of you?
I just think that's awesome. I was listening to, and I apologize, I don't remember what I was listening to. It was a book. But she was saying that when the husband comes home or somebody, they get together, they kind of verbalize, I'm at 50% today.
I just saw that.
Did you?
It's so good. I'm doing it. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just saw that, and I was like, I'm doing this with Dan.
I saw that too. I
Yeah.
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
Really? Well, see, there.
I mean, me and my spouse like Mark and I talked about it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Sounds great. We haven't implemented anything like that yet, but I've been wanting to, because, you're just kind of saying, hey, I'm 75%, today, and the other spouse can say, okay, well, I'm probably 50%, so maybe we should stay away, or hey, I'm having a great day.
Yeah.
I got your other 25%.
Yeah.
So,
What do you need me to do for you?
yeah. So I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it opens up that communication too.
I haven't implemented it either yet.
It makes it a safe space.
I'll try when I get home.
It makes it a safe space to say, I'm not in a good place today. And I think that's the most important part of it, because we always feel like, or I do feel like, we have to carry each other, ourselves, whatever. So it makes it such a safe place to say, I'm not there today.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah. Holly and I, I'm going to pick on you. We've been married for, 20 years. Holly and I have been married. Married to our significant others for, 20, 30 years, 30 on this side. But, we didn't have those coping mechanisms.
Not back then.
Back then. And, there's so much self-help out there. And of course, there's David. So, being able to gather these ideas and hear these things, I wish we would have had it a long time ago, because instead of him coming home, going upstairs to, we had a bedroom on the 3rd floor, which was his serenity, because you could hear nothing. It was, one of the old houses, and we took the attic and made our bedroom up there. So it was like three floors up.
Wow.
You couldn't hear anything. So he would go up there, and couldn't hear the kids, couldn't hear nothing, and just veg out. Of course, I'm feeling what I do.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that kind of thing. And if we would have had the communication back then to say, hey, I've had a really bad day, and I just need some time, then I could have said, I got you, don't worry about it. Or, I've had a really bad day too, so
Right.
we're just going to have to work together to get through this day.
Right.
With the kids and everything. So
Yeah.
back then. But
Yeah, exactly.
I have a comment about
Please do.
Miss Stephanie.
Uh-oh.
So, I mean, I knew Dan when I first started in law enforcement, and when she talks about his heart, Dr. David, to the family and the survivors and stuff,
Yeah.
he's been like that since I met him. And I actually got the pleasure to hang out with him in D.C. for Police Week to see him implement the things that she's talking about, like within his heart. And that is something that he's very passionate about, and he's very pure about it as well. So he's not doing it for, the namesake of it, but people associate in this area for the fallen, they associate Dan as being that go-to person for helping. So she's definitely got a gem of an officer, for sure. And he is an incredible person. So it doesn't surprise me. I've never looked at him in a relationship standpoint. So for her to talk about how they jive so well, I can see that when I see the two of them together. You can see when the relationship and the dynamic works, but she's also not giving herself enough credit for how much she does outside of what Dan does too for the fallen. I mean, she is quite the gem as well. She organizes, she implements, she fundraises, and she does all that outside of Dan as well. I mean, they're a unit together, but she definitely, you can tell that she is also passionate about it outside of just what's best for Dan.
I appreciate you saying that. It's when we started dating and I started to learn about him being involved with those things, I knew if I was going to be with him, that was part of our life. And so it worked very well that we are both into doing stuff with nonprofits. So I knew from the get-go that was going to be my life because that was his life, and that was really his biggest passion.
Yeah.
So
You guys complement each other very well.
We do.
in
I'm
that
so
aspect.
lucky.
Yeah.
He is an anomaly. He is the most amazing human. So thank you.
He's a human first and a law
I
enforcement
don't know
professional
if he's a
second.
human, but
I think you met him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think actually, I know you met him
Okay.
at the benefit
On
at
May
the
1.
Delvin pub. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
at the roll call.
Yeah.
Okay. I met a lot
I
of
know
folks
we
that
introduced you guys. Yeah. Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
I kept bringing people by the table. I'm like, this is Dr. David. Shake his hand.
There were a lot of faces there that evening.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's a nice introduction and gives me a really nice sense of your present and how you got here. And it's lovely to hear the we, that it's a joint venture. You're not a part of it, and yet you're a big part of it at the same time. And that's a role in a place it's kind of a fun place to be, but there's times when it's a little challenging because you're in it, but you're not really in it. And it's a wonderful thing to have that amount of communication so that when he does need to talk, he knows he can talk to you. He knows it. And if he can't, doesn't need to, it's not the right time, whatever, he has that space to use for himself as well.
Absolutely. And then, like I said, I pawn him out. If I know that he's having a rough time, I will call some of his guy friends and set up dates and be like, yeah, I'm not taking no for an answer. You're going out and you're drinking and having cigars with the guys. So bye.
Good job.
Sometimes there's just things that talking to your wife isn't going to fix. You need the other guys. So
Right.
go ahead and go.
Yeah, and being directed to do so.
Yes.
Sometimes a necessity.
Yes.
And I love arranging play dates for your husband. I just think that's a great idea.
I think that's where I'm missing.
Okay, but think about it. If your spouse
I need to start doing this.
started setting those up for you,
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. If I
it
look at it
takes
from
the
my
stress
side,
off of it,
just
though,
send me on a
too.
date.
You know, your husband feels like they have to come home and take care of the family, and you're like, no, go take care of yourself. I'm giving you carte
Right.
blanche. It makes it easier to do as well.
Yeah, again,
Note.
there's a
Right.
I will start setting up
play date.
play dates with Mark and Captain Fabulous
Perfect.
and Defty Donnie.
And when they walk in the door and you look at their faces and you look at their body language and you know
Play date.
this is one of those nights.
Yep.
I can see that. There's a list on the wall. Okay, last week it was this person. Yeah. Oh, great. I love it. Okay, some different directions than we went in for the first episode. One of the things that has come up a lot in my work with first responders over the years is co-workers, people that are the person works with, maybe not necessarily a partner, because there aren't too many partnerships, I don't think, on cruisers anymore, but sergeants, supervising officers, people on your same level. So I'm curious, because this didn't come up at all in the first one, for obviously Susan, Holly, and Stephanie. Over the years, your husbands as law enforcement people, did you get to know the people they worked with at all?
Not really.
Not really.
Only the ones that were friends. They were close friends. Yeah. The other ones, I don't know. Maybe it's but just our town. I don't know. But it was
Okay.
always like they didn't really involve any of our spouses with anything.
Interesting. The fire community seems more like a community to me. When Stephanie was talking
Yeah.
about the blue community, it was
Yeah.
like the first time I've heard anybody talk about that like that. Fire seems different to me, but it stopped at the firehouse door.
Basically.
Wow.
Right before Donnie left is when they started doing more things with the spouses, involving the spouses, doing stuff with their families. But no, we had nothing.
Must just be Tip City. because
Well, I
you
know
know.
back in the 70s and 80s, they would do stuff with families all the time, and then all of a
Okay.
sudden it just stopped.
Wow.
And then
we never, most departments, they'll have Christmas parties and this
we
and
never had
that,
anything.
and they
It was only the
never-
guys. It was only the people on the force.
Exactly. Yep.
Wow.
So the only people that I got to know
Mhm.
were the people that he talked about.
Mhm.
So I kind of knew them through him talking about them.
Okay.
But if he never talked about them,
Right.
then I pretty much didn't know they existed. As a matter of fact, he was talking about somebody the other day, and I'm like, well, who is that? And come to find out, they've been there for quite some time.
Wow.
But I had never heard of them. So
Right. Did that? How about you, Stephanie? I mean, your role's so different. I'm thinking you've gotten to new coworkers, right?
I have, but I insert myself.
Okay.
Good, bad, or ugly, I insert myself. So, I don't know. I used to be a teacher, and I'm extra all the way. So, the first year for Law Enforcement Day, I had actually gotten stars and written every single officer's name and rank on them and put them up in their break room. And I brought food, and I introduced myself to everybody. I don't know why. I just felt like that was what I needed to do to show him that I was supporting him and the entire family that he worked with. So on occasion, I go to the PD, I bring food and lunch, and just whoever's there, I try to support. At Christmas, we put up a law enforcement tree in the break room. So I kind of insert myself. But Dan does the memorial things, which puts us at events where we see officers from other PDs.
Right.
But the same that they're saying, there's nothing that the PD is doing to create a sense of community. That is absolutely correct. I don't see that either.
If you didn't insert yourself.
I would know no one.
Right. Exactly.
Correct.
Wow. Sounds like you're like the precinct mom.
Possibly.
Did you say you were a teacher?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a teacher thing. Yeah. It's just what. Yeah.
The stickers. I mean, I just
Yes.
like boom.
Yes. They were big stars, as big as your face. I'm sure everybody was like,
So instead
"Oh,
of room
geez."
mom, she's
Yes. Yes.
PD mom.
PD mom. Yes. Yes. I show up with flowers for Mother's Day and all the things. Yes.
That's nice. No, I feel like I was kept away from the PD
Yes.
By the PD,
by the husband.
by the husband. So
I think that's accurate, though. Again, if I wasn't inserting myself, and I don't give Dan the option, I'm just like, I'm showing up with us tomorrow, okay? So I think you're absolutely correct.
I think I would have been told no. You're not.
I don't get told no, but
I think
no, you're right. You're right. If I wasn't who I am, I would have gotten told no.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. Holly, if you'd wanted to know?
I'm a lot with Susan here, and it might just be a tip thing. I don't know, but it was basically like you know, Donnie, I'm going to come up. I'll bring you dinner. I'll do that. Okay, but I had to stay in the car, and I'd hand him his dinner, and there wasn't always every once in a while we were able to go in and just relax and eat with him and do whatever we needed to do, but
Okay.
it was more like I don't want you to know who's here. I don't want you to do this.
Wow.
I didn't want you to meet these people.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you recently, though, Dan's chief has said that there is not allowed to be more than one person in the break room at a time anymore. So he has now put the kibosh on community inside their PD. So we can't have dinners and lunches and things together inside the PD break room anymore. So that is
That
right
was
in
our
line
rule.
with what you guys have said. Yeah.
We had that rule.
God, that's
One
weird.
officer on station at a time.
One officer at a time. You're not allowed to talk to each other, basically.
Not on station.
And then in station. Right.
On my rule.
Wow.
You didn't break it.
Wow. So this became part of the whole distance thing. There was him and there was me at home. There's him at work, there's me at home with the kids. I don't know what he does. He's not asking shit about me either. There's just so much distance there. Part of it becomes, then do you get really curious? What the hell? You don't want me to meet anybody. What's that about?
Sure. Yeah, I asked one time, well, don't you have a Christmas party? He started later on in the years when he became sergeant. He started having, taking his crew, just his crew, to, and had a Christmas party. We even had a Christmas party at the house for his crew. But as far as like a Christmas party with the department or anything, I'm like, do they even have those? Well, the city has one. Well, why don't we go to it?
He could go to it, but we wouldn't be allowed. They always had the fish fry every single year at the fire department.
Yes.
I was going to say I went to the party.
And
I was a police officer.
well, yeah, but you were allowed. But we, as spouses, were not allowed. If we ever stepped in that room, they'd probably kick us out. We weren't allowed.
Wow.
It was only them, and it was only the high up people in the city and other fire departments that were close to them. Yeah, the spouses, families, they had nothing to do with us.
That is definitely true. I've never been invited to a single thing by the PD.
Wow.
Is that cognitive dissonance? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
It's just a hard thing to add up. That, in so many business places, there are people, you get to know other people. You get to know their families, and you at least know stuff about them. You never even got to eyeball them.
And at my job, the doctor I worked for took us on cruises. Our families got to go if we wanted to pay for them. Every Christmas party, our spouses were invited.
Yeah.
So when it came to the fire department, it was just strange. We weren't allowed to be involved in anything.
It's weird because you're like literally putting your life on the line with
Yeah.
these people.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yes.
Your life on the line.
risking my actual life.
And family.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's
it's
done
just
on
weird.
some level, though, mental health wise, right? To keep separated. I wonder if there is something
it's-
behind that.
This whole
It's a wing
culture
it.
that we've talked about. Keep going.
We're winging it.
Yeah.
We're winging it. We think that it's best to keep people away and keep them away, like protect them.
Yeah.
And what I've learned through the podcast is like, actually, no, you made it worse.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. And so I'm learning through that.
Yeah.
But like, especially with what Susan and Holly have divulged in our last episode,
Yeah.
was like, oh, I was making it worse. I wasn't, protecting anything. I was harming my relationship. I wasn't protecting him from what I was experiencing or what we saw. It was actually harming internally more damage than what we even encountered on duty. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
You compound it.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the isolation, the distance. Wow. Okay. So you're sitting at home. You don't know jack shit really about what the shift has been like, unless you can read the body language and you've got a battle plan like Stephanie's got. But sometimes he walks in the door, she walked in the door as a mystery. What the hell's this guy? What's going on with him? You don't know necessarily. You're not shared. There's nobody in the department you can call and say, what the hell happened today? You don't know those people. They've chosen to not let you know them. So I'm thinking, in your minds, are you imagining what these people are like? Are you almost like afraid to know them? Is it like you almost like create an almost cartoon image in your head of what these people are like?
It's most definitely, you're on it. Because I even apologized to her. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, girl, I remember it. We had a moment.
And because
The night of your wedding.
Yeah, the night we went out afterwards.
Okay.
So, but anyways, with the stuff that's happened between Donnie and I and a lot of other law enforcement, policemen, whatever. Anyways,
Yeah.
I judged every single female that walked in the fire department, EMT, and police. So yeah, I didn't know her, but I judged her. I didn't know who, just because she was a female.
Right. She was a threat.
She was a threat to me. Every single female on there was a threat to me because he didn't tell me anything about him. There was only one that I liked. She's gay. I still love her to this day. She's an amazing person. But I mean,
Yeah.
because they don't tell you who these people are, and they don't tell you, oh no, after stuff has happened in the past,
Right.
then you just automatically judge.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so easy to do when there's so much that you don't know. Your mind is going to create the truth, whether it knows it or not.
Exactly.
And part of what you're thinking has to be is who is there with my man? Why does he keep me at the door, handing him his food rather than me going in? And why does all that happen? What's he keeping from me?
Exactly.
And it's like, I don't see how your mind doesn't go there, honestly. It just seems like such a logical thing for your mind to create that reality when you don't have any information at all. You see it a lot in families where one person, sometimes it's a kid, sometimes it's an adult, sometimes it's a parent. There's something that's very obviously needs to be shared that's not being shared. And so other people in the family start making up, it must be this, it must be this, it must be this.
Yeah, when you're not getting your own answers, you just automatically put the answers in your head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't even mean to do it. It just happens.
Right.
You know?
It's far from an intentional. The last thing you want is to make your own head harder to live with, but it happens anyway. Okay. How comfortable might you be talking about the threats that you've experienced with coworkers? Like I said at the beginning, and like Mark repeated this evening, no subject needs to be brought up if you're not comfortable talking about it.
Can you clarify for me what that means to
Sure,
you when you say that?
Sure. There are 3 patterns that I've seen with first responders who are struggling and really having a hard time with their trauma and resolving it. One is gambling, one is drugs and alcohol, and one is infidelity.
Okay.
And actually, I suppose a person of the opposite sex could be a threat for any of those 3, but usually it's for the third of the 3, the infidelity part. And when you're sitting around and you don't know who your husband's working with or what their day is like, what their life is really like, and you have the sense, as we talked last time, that they might be going to somebody else with all the stuff they're not sharing with you, which is heartbreaking, then sometimes the things that you imagine are
True.
real. They're true.
Absolutely.
And so as that becomes something that you may or may not have to live with, I want to make sure you're comfortable talking about it as a topic before we explore it a little bit. Are we good?
I'm fine.
Okay. Two of you have had husbands who have been unfaithful to you. And I don't know enough detail to speculate here, but so I'm going to have to ask, was each situation with a coworker? Okay. And how did you find out?
I had friends tell me.
Say that again?
I had friends tell me.
Friends told you?
You have good friends.
Friends told me they were...
Yeah. Friends who saw things?
They knew things. Their spouses were on the same department as him.
Gotcha.
And they would go past her house, take pictures while he was on duty. Yeah. But then there were other things too. I was actually thinking about this today. What am I going to say if they ask us? So there was one time when I was pregnant with my son. I come home with my daughter. She's 9. And we walk in the door and Donnie's sitting there. I'm like, what are you doing home? I thought you were working. No, I called off. Why? Well, I've been having an emotional affair with one of the EMT, one of the lady EMT's daughters that's been coming up to the station. And now her husband is threatening our family. Our family. Okay, well, you're...
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, we called the police. We had them call this guy and say, we're putting a restraining order on you.
Mm-hmm.
That was just one instance. I can count on two hands how many times it's happened, the infidelity.
You can count on two hands.
It's been a lot. We did get divorced over it one time. And we were divorced for 2 years. God brought us back together. And we can't do anything without Him. With
Right.
God. I'm sorry, I know we're Christians, so we wouldn't be where we're at right now if it wasn't for Him.
The two of you got divorced because of the infidelity.
Mm-hmm.
And the two of you got back together because of God.
Mm-hmm.
And the two of you are still together because of God.
Yeah, it's the only reason.
And the two of you are working your tails off.
Oh my gosh, it's hard. Marriage is hard.
Marriage is hard.
It's work every single day. Even though he's no longer on the department,
Right.
it's still work every single day.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was having an affair as my brother was dying. And I had to, and it was like, that was the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. To
And
have
then,
both those things going on.
and
at the same
basically
time.
I told him, it's either us or the department. You have to choose, because I'm not going to raise my kids in this.
Right.
Especially getting a new child into our lives.
Yes.
So, we'll see,
So
It's a
here
lot of
we
work.
are several years later, right?
It's been 2 years, almost 3 years, yeah.
Almost 3 years, okay.
Well,
Not as long as
September.
Stephanie, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. About 3 years, and at this point, do you trust him?
It's hard to say.
Hard to say. Very real answer. Thank you. That was for real.
You can even ask him. I still question things a lot.
Yes.
He would come here with her. When she was here, I was like, "But is Kelly going to be there?" Even though now even though I love Kelly now, but just little things, and he does really good about, hey, I'm going to take our son with me to work, like to do this today. I'm going to take, my other, you want to come with me? So he's trying.
Yeah.
And I want to trust him.
Yes, you do.
And most of the time I do, but it's just like in the back of my head, there's always this thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I told him it's going to be there forever.
Right. Yeah.
So
The forgivenesses can be real.
the forgiveness is real, yes.
Yes.
You can forgive, but the forgetfulness is not.
Absolutely.
It doesn't go away.
Yeah, exactly. And most of the women that I work with who were survivors of this kind of an experience felt it very much the same way. Yeah.
It's not easy, but marriage is not easy.
No.
And I think there's too many people out there that, I have every right to be gone. Every right to
Yes.
to have left. And,
Yes.
I've had many opportunities. I could have gone with someone else, but I never, it just is like I made a promise in front of God
Yeah.
and my family. And
You're living.
it's work.
Yes.
You just have to do it.
Yeah. There's no days off. There's no paid time off.
Mm-mm.
It's a commitment that you make, and it's a 24/7, 365
Mhm.
for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
And otherwise, there's no reason to say the words.
That's why I think most people just give up too easy.
Yeah.
And I don't give up on a lot of things.
Well, a strong will is a sign of a strong human to me. And I've known
Thanks.
a lot of women with strong wills
Yeah.
who have gotten through remarkable circumstances in their lives, in part because of their strong will. And part of the strong will is to connect yourself to something that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, God works for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you connect yourself to the resource that
Most
provides
definitely.
energy for you, and that's incredibly important. I hear Stephanie doing that with being the PD mom. She's going to express herself and insert herself into the context as much as she's allowed to.
I think that's wonderful too.
I do, yeah.
As we sit here, so many things are rolling through my head.
Awesome.
Before I met Dan, I was with someone for 10 years, and I actually caught him one morning with another female in a home that we had spent 8 months building together.
I've done that too.
And I carried that with me. I mean, obviously, I did 3 years of weekly counseling after a 10-year, whatever. But I think that's why I inserted myself into the PD from the get-go. It came from a loving spot, but I think that when I had found out that my former partner had been cheating all the time at work, everywhere, with multiple people, I thought, I'm not doing this time.
Right.
I'm going to insert myself in the beginning, and someone will let me know if there's something going on. So as much as I inserted myself because I cared, I think I inserted myself to be like, hey, I'm with him.
Right.
And if someone wants to say something, let me know. And I think that is really, as we sit here and that's rolling through my head, I'm like, you know what? That's
self-preservation.
It was exactly why I did it. I was like, I'm not going to do this again. And I know what happens in law enforcement. And I think maybe that is part of why I've inserted myself so much. Like, someone will let me know.
It has a functional purpose.
It did.
Yeah.
But as I hear you, I was there multiple times before and I thought, I'm not doing that this time. So
That's awesome.
I put myself.
I've kind of done that since he's left. I'm like, if you do something like that again, you've lost everything, because I can't do that. My kids don't deserve that.
No, they don't. You don't deserve it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Betrayal is a really hard thing to ever forget, no matter where it comes from or when. It seems like I've talked to so many kids who can talk about betrayal, like from a parent, a teacher, or whatever, and then I can talk to adults and they'll remember that. They'll remember that 50, 40, 30 years later about how that friend, how that teacher, how that uncle, whatever, betrayed them. And when it's on that level, you can't forget it. It almost would be, to me, self-defeating to forget that.
And that pain doesn't really ever go away.
No.
Right.
No.
Exactly. It's a pain that we're good. And we're getting close to the end of our time. Anything with gambling? Did any of you go through that at all? No. Awesome. Drugs and alcohol?
I mean, they like to drink.
Are you asking me?
Sure. Or Mark, if you were here.
I mean, do you see Mark drinking more to kind of ease the pain sometimes?
Yes. As a matter of fact, for years and years and years, he only drank when we would go out with people. When we separated, and since we separated, I because we talked a lot and everything, and he was like drinking, like every night alone, has a drink alone. He never ever did that before.
Wow. So it's more now than it was before.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Now I think, though, that, he'll have a drink alone every once in a while, and he'll only have one. He doesn't sit around and get drunk by himself anymore.
Okay.
So, that's good.
It's a step in the right direction.
Because, I was like, when we were separated, I was like, why are you drinking?
Yeah. You never used to do that.
You didn't used to do that.
Yeah.
And so,
Cool.
When Dan and I first met, he was a detective, and so he was on call almost every other week, so you can't drink.
Okay.
Now that he is a beat cop again, he has a Dan pour every night, a 5-finger pour every night in his cup of whiskey.
Okay.
It's a conversation we brought up. I've tried to switch him over to ashwagandha and magnesium, so I'm trying to get him to take that at night now. But I think that is part of his coping skill every night. And it's not a subject I'm willing to broach. He only does it at home at night in his cup. He would never drink and drive. He won't whatever. If I'm not home, he'll still have that drink. But I don't think we're ready to broach that topic yet. It's not debilitating to him yet. I guess that's a horrible way to say it.
it's not an issue.
But it's his coping skill right now, and I don't have anything to help him replace that with at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. So he does drink every single night, and it is always a 5-finger pour of whiskey.
there are folks I know who, mental health people, who would be sitting here going, boy, he's got a problem.
Correct. Some people would say that.
I would not.
Yeah, when he knows he needs to be there, he's not. When we have the girls in the house, he won't have a drink until they're in bed.
Right.
But that is how he settles his brain at night.
Yeah. Yeah,
So it's there.
I think we're in a place where we don't need to be questioning other people's remedies.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
If that is working for you, I need to keep my mouth shut.
And that's where I am with it with him.
Yeah.
If that's the least of our worries, then we're cool with that right now.
Exactly. Alrighty, I've got about another 4 hours worth of material, and we have about 3 minutes left, maybe one. So I'd like to just thank all of you again. This has been awesome. I want to do this again. I thought last night after I listened to the other episode and made some notes about what I wanted to go after today, I'd like to have Joe Terry come up, because she has quite a story. If you've listened to episodes 13 and 14, her discussion of being a fireman's wife is very powerful. And so we're going to take a look at maybe including her the next time we do this, because I've got lots of places we could go. So I think this is time for me to say, Donnie, cue the music. May your days and nights find you strong and safe. May you take your place as your family's face, as you do the shit that we won't do, as you embrace the risk you must go through. May you grow in strength and heal and find your heart, your soul, and your mind. You look at your life and grin. You have a home, the shield within.